The following program is recorded content created by the Truth Network.
It's Matt Slick Live. Matt is the founder and president of the Christian Apologetics Research Ministry, found online at CARM.org. When you have questions about Bible doctrines, turn to Matt Slick Live for answers. Taking your calls and responding to your questions at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
Everybody, welcome to the show. It's me, Matt Slick, and you're listening to Matt Slick Live. If you want to give me a call, all you got to do is dial 877-207-2276. It's a nice Friday. Today's date is January 26, 2024. So, hope you all are having a good time and a good day. Oh, man, I'm having one heck of a day. A lot of stuff I'm doing here. So, hey, look, if you're interested, you can email me at info@carm.org. info@carm.org. You can do it that way. And if you do, well, please just put in the subject line, just put in their, put in radio comment or radio question. That's what you got to do, and it will work. All right. Hey, I want to hear from you. We got one call coming in, and may the Lord bless you. All right. So there you go. And let's see, I think that's about it. Maybe we'll do a little bit of hate mail today and some other stuff. All right, so there we go. Let's get on the phone. Hey, let's just try this right away. Let's get on with Alberto from Georgia. Alberto, welcome back, man. You're on the air.
Yeah, good evening, Matt Slick. The Spanish Valera is older than the King James, and where Elijah, the prophet, when he challenged the false prophets of Baal, 300 prophets, and when he defeated them, he told all the people to gather them all up and have them decapitate their heads by the river of Kishon. Now, the Spanish translation say he decapitated them, but the English translation, like the King James, that doesn't say decapitate, just say something. That's it.
What verse?
The Valera is more older translation.
What verse is it? What verse is it?
I think it's First King. I think it is. I think it's chapter 18.
Okay, so it's.
Like that, I think.
Well, I need it really helps if you could tell me what exact verse it is, and I can go look. But so without that, it's a little bit tough to.
I think.
But what book, chapter, verse do you know?
First Kings 18.
First Kings.
Chapter 18.
First Kings 18.
40 something.
Okay. First Kings 18, and that's the false prophets at Mount Carmel. All right, so. And I think it just says slay, but no, that's not it. So that's not it. I'm trying to find the exact verse. That's all I'm trying to do. So it's a little bit difficult because different translations use different words. Now it's in 1 Kings 8:60, and so I can do searches, but I can't find out what it is. I need an exact verse. So here's the thing: if you got a question about a verse, get ready with a verse so that I can find it.
Yeah, no, but Yeah, because I read it a while back. I think it's 42, I think it was.
Okay.
42, I think it was.
Topic Carmel crouched down in the earth and put his face between his knees. That's verse 42.
No.
So.
I think, I don't think that's a river Kishon.
Tell you what, do this.
They decapitate their heads off.
Yeah, tell you what, do this. Why don't you find it? Call me back, okay?
Okay.
Because I've got several things going on here.
Email. Okay.
Call me back.
Sorry, I thought that was it. But anyway, I watched the video you told me about.
Which one?
The guys about the Trinity and all that.
You mean the 5-hour discussion I had? Yes.
Yeah, there were no match against you. They were amateurs. Yeah, they couldn't prove. They had no good arguments.
Yeah, they don't. I would agree. They don't have any good arguments.
I'll send it again, but I'm pretty sure it was, but I'll send it to your email. It's a radio question. Okay.
Okay,
all right.
Sure. And would you agree that some of those guys that were exceedingly rude in that discussion?
Yeah, the guy interrupting you constantly. The other guy came in afterwards. He did some crazy comments he make. He's trying to say that that wisdom is not a person. Jesus Christ is the wisdom of God. The Bible says it. He is the power of God. It's a person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they weren't very rational. No, they weren't.
No.
Well, one guy was. Otis was. Well, Otis was pretty good, but he gave an argument that was so, not convoluted, but it was so detailed. Well, this verse over here has this shade of meaning. That verse has shady meaning. This has a... It's like, what? Other than him, they didn't really... Yeah, I agree with you. Okay?
Yeah,
So, all right.
Yeah. There were no match. They're still novice.
Well,
All
right. Well, good. Okay,
I'll
buddy.
look forward again.
All right. God bless.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
God bless.
All right. So if you want to give me a call, all you got to do is dial 8772-072276. Let's get to Martin from Virginia. Martin, welcome. You're on the air.
Hey, Matt. Hey, thanks again for your ministry. Hey, quick question. I don't have the exact quote with me. But, Jesus instructed, he was going to go into the temple, and there was a discussion about, the taxing foreigners, taxing the locals. And I think he instructed, it wasn't James, maybe it was James, but he instructed one of his disciples to go to drop a line in and pull the first fish out that takes it and take the, not a drachma, but I forget what it was, but take the coin out of the fish's mouth. Now, Jesus being Jesus, he could have done anything. He said, hey, James, check your satchel. You've got 2 coins right there. Give them to me, please. But is there something symbolic about the fish? Is there some reason why he instructed, the disciple to go fishing for it?
The only thing I can really think of off the top of my head is that's what they made a living doing, was fishing. He was a fisherman. So from the work that he was doing, he paid taxes. I think that's what was going on. And it was a shekel. And it says statera, a shekel. So that's anyways. Matthew 17:27. That specific thing. Yes.
Okay.
A standard coin, which is a shekel. So that's what I think it is. But it's a good question to see if it is something more symbolic. And to be honest with you, I'm not exactly sure. So. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if I was missing something. It just jumped out at me the last couple of weeks, and I'd come across it a couple times, and it just kind of, like you said, make you fishers of men, and they were fishermen. Yeah. So I didn't know if there was some correlation.
Yeah, it's just a good question. And it makes you wonder. But the thing I see is they paid taxes out of their living because it was just that. But, also the fishers of men, and maybe there's something there, and that as you're doing that, your needs will be met. I mean, maybe you could say that too, but I wouldn't go too far with it. There are several things you could allude to, And that's what you have to do, is allude to.
Yeah, I just didn't know if there was some aha thing that I just wasn't privy to. I kind of Googled around some stuff, but it just was kind of quizzical, I just wondered.
Yeah, if anybody out there knows, maybe you know some story or some Jewish thing that I just don't know about, call me up and let me know, and we can learn together. But at the top of my head, that's all I know. And I'm looking through some commentaries right now to see if they say anything like, and this is symbol of the Old Testament, blah, blah, blah. Like, I didn't know that. But I don't see anything that says that when the story is not about proposed miracle, but in Jesus' attitude to social conventions. Well, anyway, so that's it. And all the time I've studied, I've never really tackled that issue that way. Any symbolic meaning, I don't see, so don't think it.
Gotcha. Yeah, no worries. And instead of another question, I just had a comment.
Sure.
I know the craziness going on the southern border, and yeah, I know. And the order to, hey, the Border Patrol can go in there and they can cut the razor wire down, but Governor Abbott's standing his ground, saying, "No, National Guard, you're going to defend this ground." I think if Biden were to nationalize Texas National Guard, if I were one of the what were there 18, 22 states that said, hey, we support Abbott, send in 60 of your National Guard, rotate them every 2 weeks, because then he's going to have to nationalize everybody's National Guard, and then that's just going to look real ugly for Biden.
Well, I think that the people in the government up in that level need to be brought up on charges. And I think the leftist regime that's in control in their hypocrisy and their money digging, I think they need to be tried under a court of law for for offenses.
I'm with you, Matt. It's unfortunate that level. It's the rot has gone so deep, and I'm privy to a lot of things in the D.C. area, and I can see the D.C. courts and what kind of funding they get and how much they get of our taxpayer funds, and it's just a thing that just turns the stomach.
Yes, I would agree. In fact, I have so much to do that the stress on me is already pretty bad, pretty great, and it just amped up just recently even more. I'm getting lightheaded and having to take breaks.
Right. Not because of my call, right?
Well, it's just what it is. But I can't even watch news anymore because I get so angry at what's happening with the news.
Right.
They are purposely trying to destroy our country. They need to be dealt with.
Yeah. Yep, there's a lot of reset mindsets out there that want to tear it down to build it up in what they want it to be.
That's right. They want to destroy, and in order to do it, they want us under control. They want to get rid of our guns, and they want to be able to control everything. What we buy, where we go, what permissions we have, what our children are taught, everything. They are in control. They want control because the arrogant fools that they are think that they know what's best for everybody else. And as far as I'm concerned, it's demonic. So
yeah, it's almost like it's almost biblical and scriptural in a way, right? It's kind of heading in kind of a bad way. I pray that that this next election cycle can put a big roadblock, but I'll do my part. I'm going to volunteer.
Well,
and
you know what?
And
I think what's going to happen is, this is just a theory. How about this is a theory, nothing more than a theory, that because they've let so many people in the border, that nationals from different countries are coming in who are military age. We know that Muslims are coming in who want to destroy America. We know that commies are in from China. We know from other places are coming in. Just unchecked, come in. And people have been caught who said, get ready, it's going to happen to America. They've gotten in here. So what would happen if there was all of a sudden some major attacks within our borders because of the friggin' stupid Democrats? And they did this. And then what they do is they suspend elections. What would be the case then? That's what I'm wondering about.
Yeah, now you make my blood pressure go up, Matt.
Mm-hmm. So that's why I say to people, you better start prepping. Get food, get water. There's war. There's, in fact, Europe. Europe is, many nations, Germany, Switzerland, and others that I've heard of are preparing for war. They're telling their citizens to start taking supplies, water, food, things like this. They're building up their militaries. They know what's going on. They know what's coming. And what our country is doing is... Go ahead.
Yeah, you mentioned a few of those EU nations, countries that that they have so much stronger border protections than we do.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my gosh! If you look at Sweden, even look at Germany, look at Italy.
Yeah.
You look at many of those nations. That's right. No, they're not going to be allowed here. We saw the harm and we saw the damage of unculturalizing your nation.
Well, hold on, buddy. We got a break. Hold on. Okay, we got a break right there. So please stay tuned. Hey, folks, we'll be right back after these messages. If you want, give me a call, 877-207-2276. Be right back.
It's Matt Slick Live, taking your calls at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. If you want to give me a call, all you have to do is dial 877-207-2276. I want to hear from you. Give me a call. Let's get back on the air with Martin from Virginia. Martin, welcome. You're back on the air.
Yep, still here.
Okay. So you were saying something, and the music was coming for the break. So I don't know where we were.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, we were talking kind of. I kind of flowed the idea if Biden wants to nationalize, federalize the Texas National Guard, then all he has to do is consult with his partner states, and they would send in whatever the number, 60. I just said 60 every 2 weeks, and Biden would have to, just to go to that park and keep it secure, instead of that park turning into a landing base for thousands and thousands of illegals every day.
I'm up there in Idaho, and I'm hearing Spanish more and more everywhere I go now. I mean, I can tell from different accents, and within Spanish a little bit, and let's just say I'm recognizing more, and more and more they're just coming into stores speaking Spanish in groups.
Right. Yeah. I grew up just a stone's throw away from you on the Oregon side, from where you're at.
Okay.
So I kind of know. I get there a couple times a year. I kind of know some of the slight changes and shifts. And
well, I'm from San Diego. That's where I moved from there to here. And now I'm not against people wanting to immigrate here. No problem at all. You want to immigrate, just do it according to our laws. That's what I'm saying. Just do it that way, and be vetted. Everything, all the normal stuff. That's what I say. But let me just say that, down there, my car was broken into. My wife's car was stolen. There were plenty of instances where, let's just say that, illegals were just running rampant.
No, it's a good thing you don't live in D.C. either, man.
Yeah, it gets, we can't, you can't maintain a country this way. And, I know it's been happening for a long time, but there's going to come a breaking point, and we just can't do this. And everybody wants America. Everybody wants to come into America, and but then they don't want to be American. They want the benefits of our country, but they don't want to be American. And, learn our language and be responsible, be good citizens. But I remember once, I was coming out of an apartment, and this kid came out of nowhere. And I was going about 1 mile an hour in my car, getting ready, slowing up to the street to turn left or right, and there was a big trash bin in the way. And I'm looking left or right, and boom, this kid comes out, and I knock him off his bike. And he was okay. It scared the crud out of me. And couldn't see him. It's one of those things. And so I get out and I check on him, and he's crying, and he's more scared than anything else. His mom comes out, and I said, I'm just looking at her. I could tell. And I just, in Spanish, I said, do you speak English? He said, no. And I said, well, you need to take him to the doctor, just have him checked, and just as a precaution. She goes, no, doctor, no doctor. And I, want me to call the police? No, police. They're illegals everywhere. And I remember I used to work in the hospital in Escondido, which means hidden. And I was registering patients. And, it's just, we're being just flooded with people who don't speak English, taking advantage of the medical system. And I was called in to translate many times from doctors to patients. So, it's like, come on. This can't go on forever.
Yeah. City of Denver is really suffering because of illegal immigration, and it's really hurting the real citizens, the poor and the needy of those localities.
Yeah, I've heard stories of a hotel where they kicked out people and some veterans who were holed up there, and kicked them out and put the illegals in, and they're giving them phones, giving them stuff. Like, what's going on? And my wife just showed a video of La Jolla is down in San Diego County, and there was a boat that just came into La Jolla, and illegals are just jumping off of it and just running in, and the people are picking them up, and they're in communication. We're being invaded. We cannot have this continue. We're going to lose our country.
Right. Yeah.
We're going to lose our country.
No. Yeah, and we can't support it. It's just going to degrade our whole economic system.
Yeah, it is. And I don't want to sound like they're going to accuse me of being a racist. I'm not a racist. I just think that if you're going to, if you want to come to the country, do it legally. And I think that our people in government are supposed to protect us and do what's right according to the law. and they're not. And obviously, I don't trust the Republicans either, but the Democrats, as far as I'm concerned, are just evil. They're just evil. So that's what I think.
Yeah, it's kind of a bad direction right now.
Yeah. And someone's got to say this stuff, and I know that. And here's the thing. I'm actually worried about getting arrested for what I say. That the Gestapo is going to come to my door and just say, you can't talk like that on the radio. Because I know that my radio is near that area in Washington, D.C. So, you know?
Right, yeah, Baltimore, Washington, D.C. area, you got to be careful. Can't really show up at a school council meeting and voice the truth, because you will be, if they get your name, and they will get your name, because it's nothing different that they haven't done in the last 50, 60 years. They're outside taking names and license plates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the left, I recommend people read the novel 1984, written by an atheist, and Aldous Huxley. Everybody should read that and study it. And it's got some naughty stuff in it, but they should read what it is, because it's about Big Brother, it's about control, it's about the government doing what it does to control people. It needs to be studied, and it's coming. Big Brother, but there's just, and then another thing is I was watching some videos. This really bothers me. I was watching some videos yesterday. I forget what the latest, what you call it, Gen Z or whatever it is, and people on the street are going out and interviewing them, and how many moons does Earth have? They don't know. How many states is the United States? They don't know. Just stuff like this. People are being so dumbed down.
Yeah, government schools have not really paid out. I mean, I heard that New York City, I believe, that the districts there, it costs an average of $45,000 a year the government spends, whereas the charter schools, and they are 72% minority, they are 67% less than that, and they outperform their minority brethren, their sisters and brothers, by 3 times, almost 30%, 30 percentage points on reading and writing.
That's right. You just remind me, I'm going to say this too, that I watched a video, told my wife about it, and this woman was at a school board meeting, whatever it is, and when we get back to the break, I'll tell you the basic thing that she said. She was absolutely brilliant, and I want to comment about it. But we're going to move on. We got our caller, so I'll comment when we get back going. But yeah, Martin,
take care, man.
I'm with you. All right, buddy. Hey, folks, we'll be right back after these messages. If you want to give me a call, 877-207-2276. We'll be right back.
It's Matt Slick Live, taking your calls at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. What I was going to say, that I heard this woman on one of those short videos. She was absolutely brilliant. She was a mom, and she got before the school board. It was fantastic. And she said a lot of stuff. She was so articulate. But she said something in the midst of this beautiful rant that she did. She talked about why the schools now are having to deal more and more with emotional problems from the kids. And I didn't know about this, but I guess that is the case, that there's more and more of them that are having difficulties dealing with stuff. And there's more depression and stuff. And she said, well, what do you expect? Their brains aren't mature enough to be able to handle the confusing teachings that you have about transgender, pronoun usage, what is sexuality, all at their young age. It's way too early for them. They can't handle it. No wonder they're confused and depressed and needing medications. Look what you guys are doing to them. And it was brilliant. And it really was. So give it credit where it's due, but I'll be using that kind of a reference because it is so clear and it's so true. Let me tell you, the enemy of the gospel, the devil, goes around seeking who he can destroy, who he can devour, and he's going to use his servants. Now, anybody who doesn't bow the knee to Jesus is ultimately a servant of the evil one, whether directly and they want to do that which is evil, like so many people in our politics, or they really don't care, and they're just being manipulated, little here, little there. They're becoming liberal, jellyfish. So, as Christians, we need to be praying, and our country's in trouble, and I'm not trying to be, depressive here, but we're in trouble, and I can't even watch news anymore. It raises my blood pressure too much, and I'm already under enough pressure. I can't watch it. My wife watches it, and she turns it down when I come in the room now, because I can't handle it. I get so angry. I know what they're doing to our country. They're destroying it, and the people at the top are letting it happen. They're aiding and abetting the enemies of our country. Yeah. Let's get to Ed from Roanoke, Virginia. Ed, welcome down here.
Hey, what's up, Slick?
Yeah, everything. Just a lot of pressure. A lot of stuff going on. So what's up, man?
Yeah.
What do you got?
It's been a long time since I talked to you. I get to get my Slick fix again tonight. And
Good.
I have got a rant. About this immigration thing. I mean, it infuriates me. You know what? Number one, I was married to an immigrant, and of course she passed away, and we did all the paperwork we had to do to get her over everything. And now I'm married to another one, and we're still in the process. Spend thousands of dollars. Now get this. So my wife applies for a job at the post office. She's got her green card, and she gets fingerprinted. We're like, all right, you're going to get a job at the post office. And then they deny her because I married her. She came over on a tourist visa, and then I married her. So she's only on a 2-year conditional green card. So she's only here. So she can't even get a job at the post office. And I'm at work, and I'm on my route, and I meet this guy. He's from Cuba. And he's like, hey, can I get a job with you? I said, well, how'd you get up? What's the deal? He says, well, I don't have papers. He said, I came over, 8 countries, 9 countries, came through the border with his wife. Now, Grant, he's a nice guy. He was actually a doctor in Cuba. But so he's working in a factory. I said, well, how'd you get this job in the factory? You don't have papers. He goes, oh, I made up a Social Security number. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. My wife can't even work for the post office. We spent thousands of dollars. She's on a conditional green card because she did it right. And this guy is making $20+ an hour because he put in a fake Social Security number, and he's working in a factory. And it's just ridiculous how, that's a slap in the face of those of us who are doing it right, spending the time, paying the money, and here this administration. Now, I hope Biden tries to jail the governor, because that's just going to ruin his presidency, because it's just we can't stand for that. It's just ridiculous. Texas governor is trying to protect us, protect the border, and this Biden administration is just it's so frustrating.
Yeah, it's horrible. We have people who are ruling things who don't have the best interests of the people of the United States, and this is why we need to read and study the preamble to the United States. I don't know if anybody's done that recently. What it says.
Well, the Constitution tells the governor he can protect his borders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. And get this, so when I was in high school, I was born overseas, so my dad was in the military, but I had a green card my whole life. So when I was in high school, my grandparents started applying for my citizenship, and all the paperwork was done. But I joined the United States Marine Corps after high school, so I get into boot camp, and guess what? Immigration rights letter says, hey, go swear in Detroit. I said, I can't go swear in. I am in the United States Marine Corps. I am in boot camp. So because I couldn't swear in, I didn't know it. I pretty much, lost all my status, all my paperwork that my grandmother worked so hard for. It was done. They couldn't do anything, right? So after I got back from overseas, I was stationed in the Marine Corps, Camp Lejeune, my last year. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go check on my status on my citizenship. So I called up Senator Jesse Helms' office, and they said, oh, you have to do it all over again because you didn't show up for. I said, how could I show up? I was in Marine Corps boot camp, wearing the uniform, willing to die for this country, and I can't vote, and I have to do the paperwork all over again because I was wearing the uniform? And they said, well, I said, can you expedite something? She said, well, last time we did that was for this Polish guy on his deathbed. I said, well, what good did that do? It's the citizenship for him.
Right.
And so what I did is I called Senator Helms' office like every week, and I just bugged them, and I wrote him a letter, and I said, "Oh, we just found your letter." This was weeks later. "We just got you found your letter." I said, "No, you just pulled it out of the file. So what can you do for me?" And they said, "Well, nothing." So I just kept calling, and you know what? They called me 2 or 3 months later. Senator Helms, what a great man, said, "Go swear in Cherry Point." So at least, somebody did something right. But, I was suffering for trying to do it right and wearing the uniform, and they wouldn't give it to me. I was like, so frustrated.
Yeah, you got to fight for your rights, and the people in power are more concerned with those who break the law and defending them than they are with the people who uphold this country.
Oh, yeah.
And I was wrong. It's not the preamble. It's the Declaration of Independence. That's what I was thinking of, which I'm going to read a little bit after you're gone. Okay, man? I'm with you, and thanks for serving our country, too. Appreciate it.
Hey, God bless you. Thank you.
God bless, man. All right, folks, what does the Declaration of Independence say? I'm going to read some of it. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. And it goes on, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, well, what ends? To the pursuit of, I'm going to read the whole thing, the paragraph. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men. So the governments are instituted to secure the rights of the citizens, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its power in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Then it goes on. And so I suggest that people read that and take it seriously, because it's important. And we have something great here in America, folks. And everybody, not everybody, but most people are comfortable because their internet works and their TV works, and they can still go to the store and buy food. Things work for them. They have their jobs. They don't want to risk anything. And then when our economy fails, we're invaded, when things become detrimental to even be an American citizen, and it's better to be an illegal, then you're going to wish you'd done something. Let's get to, Anonymous 66. Welcome, you're on the air. Hello?
My apologies, I had you on speakerphone. Good evening. I spoke to you a couple months ago about had a strong feeling that something within 2 years. Seems like it's maybe sooner than that by the looks of things. I have a comment, if you would, more than a question, if you don't mind, or a couple of them.
Sure.
They're saying that maybe he's letting all these people in for, what did I say? For votes? No.
Yes.
They're not going to vote. Why would they vote?
Can you hold on? We got a break. Okay, hold on. We'll get back after. Okay. Hey, folks, we'll be right back after these messages. 2 open lines, 877-207-2276. We'll be right back.
It's Matt Slick Live, taking your calls at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
Everybody, welcome back to the show. All right, let's get back on with Anonymous. Welcome, you're back on. Okay, go ahead. Are you there? There we go.
Hello?
Yeah, now I hear you. Go ahead. Okay.
Oh, hey. Yeah, well, saying they've not got them here for votes. I mean, they're really going to vote? No. I think, unfortunately, or whatever, it's much more nefarious than that. And we know whose third term is being run through him. And if, his wife wins, it'll be his fourth term. I lost a lot of friends through drug overdoses and all. And, the last count was, 300 pounds of fentanyl a week. It takes 1 grain, man, the size of a piece of salt to kill somebody. And we're just seeing it all unfold in front of us. It was all prophesied. And the verse, don't think these things strange concerning you as if some fiery trial will come upon you. It just keeps coming to mind. We just need to hold fast in prayer and state the obvious, but, we just, it's time to get real, myself included, Anyway.
I wouldn't put it past
I
wouldn't put it past the leftists to somehow stop the elections coming. I just wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, yeah. What else I was going to say? Oh, well, but yeah. Oh, we're definitely in a police state. There's no doubt about it. And you're right. You're right about 1984, and it's chilling. It is, but it says for every day of the year plus one is fear not. 365 times in the Bible. So
interesting.
Easier said than done sometimes, but we know who's in overall. So I want to thank you again. I listen to you every night, and keep on keeping on, man. We support you 110%. Okay, God bless you, brother.
Thanks. Okay, really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I'm going to go. Right. You're welcome very much. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay, bye. All right. Hey, let's get to Dawn from Spokane. Dawn, welcome. You're on the air.
Hi, Matt.
Hi.
So I have a question about the debates that you do, and I was wondering how, when you're debating people like Pike and that Andrew guy, who, P.S. are rude, how do you hold your stuff together and debate in like a serious manner when they're being a clown?
Well, let me ask you, before I try to answer that, did you really think I held myself together that well?
Yeah, they never would answer your questions. It was obnoxious. I was getting so riled up. So I put you on our big screen TV, and then I had my girlfriend on my phone, because normally I do everything on my phone. So we're talking while we're watching the debate. I'm literally throwing pillows at the TV, screaming, answer the freaking question. It was upsetting me. Or they would turn it into something that wasn't even on the topic. And I thought that the moderator's job was to steer everybody back in, but apparently it wasn't. I don't know. I finally turned it off after 2 hours. I was like, I don't know how you're keeping your cool. I would have lost my marbles. Sorry, I'm getting all riled up. It was.
Yeah. Well, it's tough, and I always try and be as patient as I can, but I did get angry a couple of times with people who were so obstreperous, like this one guy. He just wouldn't answer questions and was condescending. Another guy came on, it was the same thing. He was even worse. The first guy was just interrupting constantly. I kept asking him to stop doing that. He said he would stop interrupting, and then he would do it right away. Even when I'm asking him to not interrupt me, he'd interrupt me. And then he complained I wasn't answering his questions. I'm like, it's just insane. But I stuck it out, and there have been more than a few comments about the moderation needed to be a little bit more precise, because I think the moderator needed to gets in and hold everybody feet to the fire and say, look, you got to answer the questions and stop being insulting and stop interrupting.
Right.
And if you don't stop interrupting, we're going to kick you out. And so I had to say a few times,
That's
look,
what I
these guys
thought was going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it just never happened. And then my other part of it was, what is the purpose of it if they're not willing to take in? The purpose, I thought, of a debate, and I could be wrong, is that you're trying to sway someone's opinion, in a different manner to prove to them that you're correct. When there's no willingness to listen, where do you go from there? How are you? I'm trying to learn from you, but the only thing okay.
What you do is I use them to teach others, and I use them to hone my arguments down. So people don't realize that what I do a lot is I do a lot of stuff behind the scenes. Half of what I do in the ministry is just behind the scenes talking to people. And so I field test ideas, and people just don't know it. I mean, I'm not complaining. It's just what I do. So I'll go into different venues. I go into the Oculus world, and mine is getting old. I need a new one. I go into the into Clubhouse. I go into Discord. I go into Facebook, and I will have discussions with people. And I prefer live voice, and I'll go for 1 to 2 hours at a time while I'm taking notes. And, they might bring up a certain verse, and I'll go to my notes on that verse, and I'll read what I've already written and research on that, and they might ask something a little bit varied from that, and I'll put that in there. So they don't realize that what they're doing is helping me really hone down all kinds of answers, and that's what I'm doing. So my work on, for example, my single document on Catholicism is 197 pages. 197 pages. Wow. And, about 40 of it is just their documents from the catechism and some other stuff. They're just repeated documents. I copied it so that I can say this is where it is. So I probably have 170 pages, 150 pages of just stuff I've written right there. And it expands because that's what happens. I do it with atheism. I do it with Eastern Orthodoxy and stuff. So it's one of the reasons I continue in that area. And then what I can do is I learn how to articulate these things over the radio, and in articles, I'm able to just present them so people go, oh, that makes sense. So usually people don't realize there's hundreds of hours of experience per topic that I've had to go through in order to get my knowledge in place, my arguments in place, honed it down to the basics. Usually hundreds and hundreds of hours on varying interrelated topics. And, that's fine. It's just what I do. So. And
then you have a troll ask you stupid questions to then never answer the right question that you first asked, but then to direct it into an, oh my gosh, I cannot. I'm trying. Yeah.
And then what'll happen a lot is that someone will, I'll say something, and then when they say, well, you just said such, and I never said that. They only hear what they want to hear. This is the way of the unbeliever. Yeah, I noticed that too. That was frustrating. Yep. Oh, yeah, and numerous times, maybe 10 times. Yeah, maybe 10 times I brought it up. I said, that's not what I said. And they said, yes, you did. And I said, no, I didn't. It's one of the advantages of having done this so many hundreds of times that I have these sentences I'll say. I know what I'm saying. And so they will misrepresent what I say, and they're bearing false witness, and it happens a lot. But, it's just what it is.
Well, that's when the moderator comes in and says, no, this is what was said.
Yeah, he's not paying attention sometimes because it's a lot of work. Being a moderator is not exactly easy. But nevertheless, it was 5 hours.
I say that sitting on my couch, leaning back in the recliner. So I think that I can judge fairly here, Matt.
Well,
I'm in my armchair sipping my tea.
What I want to start doing is getting them on my own channel, and then have people I can trust who'll be good moderators. They'll call me on the carpet too. Matt, you're getting a little, you need to answer the question. That's fine. I don't have any problem with that because I make my mistakes too. But it's tough. It's a tough world that I hang out in. I hang out in the world of trash. I go out to the unbelievers, and I go into their rooms, their hatred, their misrepresentation, their lies, and I tackle them in that. I'll go in there, like, just imagine, just a countryside full, and there's so many areas that are just full of filth, and it's dangerous for the average person. And I go in there, and I tackle all of them, and then I bring the gems out and hand it to the good people, the Christians. And I'm not trying to boast, look how great I am. I'm just saying it's what I do.
Right, I got you.
And so I go in there and learn a lot, and then say, here, this is what it is. And so, and praise God, I'm able to do that, and I like doing that because God's equipped me to do that.
Well, how do you know if it's a legit debate or if it's trolls coming after you? How do you know between the two? And then how do you
care.
prep differently for that?
Well, it depends on what's coming up. But I really, if it's a formal debate like I had with Shabir Ali, he's a Muslim. Well, the man is respectful, he's intelligent, he's articulate, and he's basically humble. True. And yet and then like the second guy on that 5-hour discussion, he was incredibly arrogant and he was a horrible individual as far as politeness goes and interaction. And so, it's just a variety of stuff. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just let them go and then hang them with the rope they gave me. But what I'm working on is to be even more patient during all of that. And it takes a lot of practice. Because it's tough. Yeah. So anyway. Yeah.
So how do you get out of that, not being angry and wanting to, I have to be good.
Hurt them? It's not
cause
easy.
Harm.
Yeah. Well, I look at it this way in that so many of them are just lost in the grip of Satan. And I ask God that every morning when I sit down in this chair and I ask God, use me today. Please help my interactions with people be godly. When I go into rooms, I don't pray often enough. When I go into rooms, Lord, please guide me. Even with, that discussion, there's many discussions, I'll be praying during the discussion, disagreement, debate. Lord, give me wisdom, give me knowledge I don't even know I have, unearth it, give me something new, let me have insights, confound their foolishness, Lord, because that's where we have to be. And because I'm autistic and I'm semi-smart, I can see so many things, and then because I'm autistic, I can break it down for the average person, and they get edified. And so that's one of the goals.
Okay, so there's my thing. I just found out what I'm not doing, and that's praying beforehand. I should probably pray before I watch them, too, so then I have a little more patience in my heart to go through all of it. Because I'm telling you, I almost destroyed our television. It wasn't pretty.
Yeah, well, I've wanted to do that, too, a few times in some areas. But you know what? We have to go forward, and some of us are able to do that, and some people are not. And so I said to the people who are not, who don't do what I do, aren't called to it, pray for me, and really pray for me. And please support this ministry because we do need it. They don't realize how much work goes into it. And, praise God. And so we need to help each other. That's all. And there's the music, okay? All right.
Yep. Well, thank you so much, Matt. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, God bless. All right. Hey, everybody. That was, it was a good show. It was different. And may the Lord bless you. And by His grace, we'll be back on the air on Monday. I hope you have a great weekend. And we'll talk to you next week. God bless everybody. Bye.
Another program powered by the Truth Network.